Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot and welcome to today's reading. Thank you all for your patience and your support while I was out sick. I couldn't believe it hit that hard and that fast. So, thank you so much for being understanding. And now we're going to jump back in. Um, we're going to have to kind of get in and just see where things are landing now. So it'll be more of a let's get an idea of what you need to know at this time because things haven't really stopped moving and changing. And I'll tell you what I mean. So, of course, I will tell you this will be a general reading for this collective, like it always is. So it's not going to resonate with everybody and it shouldn't resonate with everyone. But if it does resonate with you, then go back and get caught up a little bit because all of these readings are very much connected. So I'm going to read with the Star Tarot and the Radiant Tarot. I think I'm going to start with the Radiant and then clarify with the Star. These are the decks that just really wanted to be used. There's been a lot of that lately. I've been doing some of the personal readings and the decks just pop out. Here's the one that needs to be used. When we get to the Oracle, we're going to use the Soul's Journey. So I don't know if that's going to be at the end of this reading or the end of the extended. If we do an extended, it'll be at the end of that. So we're going to jump in and we're going to start with kind of that regular, just the first question that we always ask. It sets the tone for the reading. It's going to be that emotional backdrop, that just the overall weather that you guys are functioning in, the emotions that you guys are swimming in, the energy, the energetic and emotional backdrop. This is basically everything that will allow us to have context as we see the rest of what's coming in the reading. There's been a lot of intensity, and the intensity hasn't slowed down. So if you had ordered a personal reading before I got sick, I will have sent you a note that said I can tell that there's something wrong in the energy and it's not the energy, it's me. So the energy was really just very tried and true, very straight, very clear, very not messing around, very, very clear about things. There is also with this energy, and I would say it has remained that way even as I was having kind of my addled COVID brain. I could feel that the energy wasn't the problem, and it is still very strong. It is still very tried and true. This is a Six of Cups. This is about nostalgia. It's a card of looking back into the past, thinking back into the past. In some cases, it's about not making the same mistakes that have been made in the past, but I think there's more to it. There is a missed opportunity, or it's really like a path that someone might have taken. Okay, so I will say that this is supposed to be a fresh look because we've missed some time, but we still have that energy of your person seeking you out and a new soulmate kind of coming your direction. But the new soulmate coming your direction is someone from your past and not necessarily a romantic situation. So there is something here that has kind of grabbed some of you. I can tell that in the notes that I've received. There's a lot going on there. And some of it is, hey, here's the path we didn't travel. With the Ten of Swords, there's an opportunity to unlock some healing here. And I apologize about the noise in the background. I don't know how much you guys can hear that. Something noisy is going by, and it just kind of, we're getting a lot of noisier and quieter over here. So now it's a little quieter. Anyway, with the Six of Cups, we've got looking back into the past. With the Sun in the reverse, we've got a missed opportunity of some kind. With the Ten of Swords, we've got an opportunity for some healing and some really getting in and resolving something that happened a long time ago. So this is an opportunity for healing that all feels very much connected to this. It feels very associated with the soulmate from the past. And so what I will say is, like I was getting at before, I've gotten a lot of notes from you about soulmates that have come in. Some are romantic soulmates or romantic relationships from your past that are maybe not behaving in a romantic way now, but you are resolving some things. You also may have some people coming in that are simply people who flitted through your life for some amount of time in the past and now they're back. There's something significant and complicated to resolve. And this is a big opportunity. You are being encouraged to just kind of jump in there. Okay, so we have a Knight of Cups and a Five of Cups. Okay, the Five of Cups, I want to talk about this one really quickly. And this Empress, you may not feel ready for what you are being given. There's basically a gift that's coming in with this. You are not necessarily feeling ready for it, but you are very much going to be ready for this. It is something that you, when this person comes to you, you might be, like as an example, afraid that they need money, but they need someone to listen. And it will become evident very quickly that what you expected to come of this is not necessarily what is coming of this. I don't feel like it's super awkward in that regard, but I do feel like this is something to think about. What you initially may be expecting, there's probably a twist on it or something that is just different from what you thought. With the Five of Cups, there's going to be a need to reframe something, and this is going to be about something from the past, a need to reframe something so that it can look like a different type of opportunity or a new shot at an opportunity. With this Knight of Cups, I would just say it takes a lot of energy and effort for this person to reach out to you, whether it's them being afraid to do so. So I feel like there's a sense of humility here, a sense of not wanting to reach out and make a mistake, or afraid that you aren't going to respond. So I just want to take a moment to say that we were hearing about a soulmate that is someone from your past that is generally going to bring a positive change to your life, okay? Complicated, but ultimately positive. So this is about you having to let go of some things, I think right away with, I think I'm not ready for this, to realizing that you are prepared is going to be you letting go of some things and maybe even letting go of an expectation that things will go a certain way. There may be a little bit of triggering. I just as I'm watching this, I'm thinking that's clear and present. There's something that's happening here with this person from the past that arms you for the future. You have the Three of Pentacles, things fall into place, and then this person kind of just, yeah, I had an suggestion with some of the meditations I was doing, like this person in some cases is going to pop in and pop back out. It's not necessarily this is a long-term relationship, but I think that it is very positive. Yeah, it's positive, and it brings you some balance that is hard-won balance that you've been, I think, looking for a long time, but it doesn't tie everything up into a neat little bow for you. It is going to help show you which direction you need to take next. So this is important. I feel like this is as uncomfortable of a situation as it might be for you or for everyone. I don't know that you're the one that truly experiences the discomfort here. I feel like it is ultimately not super negative for you. You have the Three of Wands. This is a time of setting you into motion, a time of doing something that sets you off into a new direction. So this is all coming from the situation with this soulmate. And so when I say a new soulmate coming in, it's not necessarily new to you. Like we've been seeing in the past, I am completely not sure about time now, but I'm going to say the last week and a half or so, we've been seeing that this was someone that was supposed to come in and create a positive change. We also knew it was somebody from a past life, but it's not necessarily a past life like prior to the life that you are living and remembering. It could be very much like in the sense of another time that feels like a different world to you, and this person comes back in and you are reminded of the ties between yourself then and yourself now. So I feel like that's a big reflection on you. But remember, you also have your divine masculine who's been pulling heavily on your energy. So let's focus a little bit here on what it is that you need to know, especially given that you've got a couple of soulmates working on you. And then we're going to look at where your focus needs to be with a little advice about what you need to do about it. So let's look to see what else it is that you need to know as you jump into this situation, or as you feel your way through this situation. So I can tell from your notes that some of you have already started having this experience. Again, it's not necessarily bad. In some cases, a little bit more positive than you might think. What I was noticing earlier when I was saying, hey, I know exactly which decks to use and things like that, you may be noticing that the path to your intuition may be a little bit quicker, a little bit shorter at this time. With the Nine of Pentacles, you're a little bit more sure of something when you make a decision. So you have a decision happening and you're feeling better about making that decision than you might be under some other circumstances. Then you've got the Five of Swords. Yeah, that's a lack of consternation. This is understanding the direction that you need to go. Now, I'm not going to say that this is necessarily understanding the direction you need to go and being able to confidently walk that way. In fact, I wouldn't even say that this energy is strongest in you. I feel like this is happening with your divine masculine, and it's reflecting off of you or bouncing off of you or kind of shining onto you, or it's maybe a little bit more of that energy that is an emotional and energetic backdrop. But this is something that is very strong in your person. So there's a sense of confidence that isn't usually there about a decision that's being made, a lack of consternation, and a realization about which way to go. Finally being quite clear on something. Again, though, here's the fear. I'm not sure they're ready to walk into what needs to happen. I feel like there's still some fear about how to proceed and not being entirely sure about what that path ought to look like. Oh, hold on. We got a couple of them here. So we have the Two of Pentacles, the Nine of Wands, and the Eight of Pentacles. Oh, and the Four of Swords. Okay, but not this Tower. Maybe later, right? I put the cards back away if it feels like they're not supposed to be part of it, and then if they need to come back out, I have full trust that they will come back out. And if you've been watching me for a little while, you know exactly why I would say that. So, okay, we have the Prince of Swords saying, yes, even though there is some confidence around the awareness, there's still a lot of fear. So there's a lot of fear about execution, because with this Four of Swords, it's kind of the same story about how they're coming up on a situation, but they haven't got sufficient healing to get it all figured out. Now, part of this is they have received the healing, they have received the lessons, but they're not necessarily ready to put those lessons into play yet. The Eight of Pentacles says they know that, but the Eight of Pentacles is a card of mastery. In this case, though, I'm being drawn to the fact that there's a cycle with the moons here, and it's not yet a complete effort around mastery. So it is a lot of effort around it, but not necessarily having completed the cycle, not necessarily having gotten to that place yet. Still some healing left to do. That's a big piece of it. So this is a big deal, though, because they know something. There's a lot of defensiveness. There's a lot of, I'm not ready to move forward. They're not feeling ready to move forward with what they feel like they know. So once again, lessons that have been learned to some degree, but not necessarily have been able to put into play very well. With this Prince of Swords, that concerns me a little bit because it feels like hiding. With a Five of Swords in the reverse, it's saying, I know what I need to do. The Star card, the Nine of Pentacles, I know what I need to do. I feel really confident about this. But with this Prince of Swords, that really just, even before that came out, I was feeling like, but they're not quite ready to move forward. Here, that's what I get. This is almost hiding, running in the other direction. But the thing is, it's hiding, but not running that far away. Like, they want to make sure that you are not, they don't want to lose track of you completely. So you'll notice a little bit of a a running away, but still a little bit of a pull, still a little bit of a almost a sense of ownership plus defensiveness. It's a strange energy, but not necessarily strange coming from them. I think what is strange about it is that it also happens at the same time as this confidence around knowing which direction they need to go. So it creates some pressure because they don't feel like they have the choice to move that way. So there's the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is telling us that they have a strong need to take a trip. Okay, so it's around this healing with the Four of Swords in the reverse. They need to take a trip. There's something here about it's kind of an emotional distance that they need to travel. This often comes out as an emotional distance for the traveling element of the Two of Wands. And if they can travel this emotional distance, they're going to be put in a position to much better reconcile what's happening here within themselves, because they have a realization of a direction they need to go, but a lot of defensiveness about actually traveling that way. A lot of fear, a lot of a tendency to kind of run away, not want to be involved, not want to get their hands dirty, or there's something there about not wanting to get involved. Feeling like they need to keep a distance, and doing so. So that with the Seven of Pentacles, there's a realization that this is the time to jump. And then with the Fool in the reverse, this is saying that for some reason they can't make themselves do it. So this is realizing that you're standing on the edge of that. And we've seen this before. Realizing that you're standing on the edge of that high dive and you are supposed to go. And there's a line behind you. And you now, if you're not going to go, you have to turn around. Everybody has to back down that ladder, and it's unacceptable. You know, I mean, there's kind of this, there's a difficult feeling that comes in with this, and they stand there and ponder it for a long time, knowing, because they do know it's the right direction to go. They do understand that this is a place that they're supposed to invest. It is supposed to give them an opportunity that they know on a deep level that they are supposed to take. However, I don't know that they are able to take this opportunity. So this is where you see somebody walk right up to the precipice of taking a risk and then not taking it. Like, but what does that look like? I'm curious to see kind of what that looks like. Maybe that's kind of what we go into the extended with, because is it more, do they because I get the sense that they may actually reach out and then they find themselves standing on this precipice. So it is not completely without communication. That's the piece that has you standing there dealing with a soulmate from the past and the current energy of your person that feels like they want to get closer to you, but they also, they want to get away. And part of it is that they've got something that's going on that's creating some pain for them. Now, I know this has already been playing out for some of you, where something happens and basically, like we were seeing before, something happens and then they say the wrong thing in a situation. They extract themselves from that situation and then they go contact you. Okay, we're supposed to take this one. We've got the Lovers in the reverse. They're frustrated. They're frustrated because they don't feel like they have a choice. They don't feel like they have a choice to move in a direction that they would like to move. Oh, this is difficult. So I feel like this is what we take into the extended. What else is happening with this person? You've got them coming your direction. You have them having some level of resolve in doing so. But this is that frustration that causes them to run away, and to have that defensiveness. But it's that lack of healing, that lack of emotional distance having been traveled, that makes it impossible for them to fully invest the way that they need to. So there is something that they're unable to walk through the door. They're unable to make that move into the uncharted territory. So they're doing something, but they're not doing something new. And there's a lot of frustration in them around that. So we'll look when we get into the extended to just kind of see a little bit more about that. Before we get into the extended, the link for the extended will be down below. But before we go there, let's get some more, let's do the you portion of the reading. So this is advice for you, where you need to be focused given what else is on this table. So we came in to take a fresh look, and immediately this other soulmate pops up, and so does your divine masculine. And it's basically it's very similar to what we were seeing in the last readings that I was doing for you. So this energy still feels very prominent. Let's take a look at where you should be focused and what you need to be doing, or where you go with this. So you've got the Magician. Well, you're in a nice position of being able to not necessarily control the situation, but work toward outcomes that you're interested in. That's a card of manifestation, and it's co-manifestation with the universe. It's not just taking control of everything, but you're in a nice harmonious space to do that. With the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, watch for something that you need to know seems super obvious once you know it. Watch for it not to be as obvious right in the offset, or in the outset. So as you're observing a situation and something doesn't feel quite right, just be aware that this is because there's something that you need to see. There is something that you're going to need to observe. Also, this card, I don't know how much you could see it, but it kind of came up like this. It opened slowly like a door. And this is the Ace of Pentacles, which sometimes refers to a door opening slowly. So be aware that even though things might feel like they're moving relatively quickly, you've got some opportunity that's opening up for you relatively slowly and gradually as a result of the efforts that you're making on a regular basis. So many of you have something that you're working on a little bit every day, or a little bit every week, or something that you practice, or something that seems like it's not really bringing much in the way of returns. Just be aware that there is something happening there. It's slow and steady, but it is happening there. So keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop because of this. You've got the Six of Pentacles, and by this I mean frustration and that feeling of things not moving quickly. With the Six of Pentacles in the reverse, there is someone in your midst, and it may be one of these soulmates who is not giving you the proper approach. There's something here where they're treating you like somebody that you used to be. That's part of the reason it makes me wonder if it's this. They're treating you like the person that you used to be, but not the person that you are. So that's an easy mistake to make. It's not necessarily a bad intent, but you may have to set someone straight. You may have to correct them. With the Five of Pentacles, you're going to recognize, partially because of your interaction with these two, a little bit more about yourself and where you have grown and where you haven't. So there will be places where you've come a long way, and there will be other places where you think, wow, I really would have expected to have come farther by now, and now I have the perspective to see that. With the Ace of Cups, I think right about the time that you realized that you thought this person was, as I used in the example, coming to you for money, and it turns out they just need someone to talk to. Right about the time that you figure it out, there is going to be an outpouring of emotion in your direction, maybe coming from this person, but it feels like it's almost just this strange coincidence around the timing. So as you experience outpouring of energy, outpouring of emotion coming from someone, be aware that it may be difficult for you to know what to do with it and where to put that when it arrives. That is, how can I say this? Not necessarily something that you need to figure out right there on the spot. So if you feel like things are a little bit awkward, you feel like you're not quite sure how to handle something that by all rights seems like a fairly positive thing, just know this is okay. You don't have to have it all figured out just yet. I feel like there is some grace in the situation. So a lot of love coming your way, a lot of grace, maybe more than you recognize right on the front end. So when you see something, there may be some misinterpretations, and that's pretty classic Mercury retrograde type stuff. The other thing that I would mention, though, besides the fact that there might be some misinterpretations and misunderstandings, is that these people coming back are looking to resolve something. That's also very Mercury retrograde. A lot of times you see people coming back, and it is because they're looking to resolve something. This is a great time to do it, especially right here after this full moon. You have great access to your intuition, and there's a good chance that you are going to feel comfortable and ready to let people in to a certain degree. But I would just say watch that it may not be completely. You may not wanting to be letting them in completely. So just be aware there might be a little bit of, I guess, emotional limitation there. But again, you don't need to be in a rush about anything. With the Eight of Wands, there's this card of like, you've got the Wheel of Fortune here in the reverse, change not happening quickly. The Eight of Wands in the reverse, which feels like stagnation, but kind of isn't. This is about not needing to make a quick decision. So keep in mind that when it feels like you need to make this decision up here, and it feels awkward, you don't have to do it quickly. You really do have flexibility, and I think if you sit back and observe, you will note that. Okay, so what do we have? The Seven of Cups and the Six of Swords. You have options, multiple ways to get to the same point. Multiple ways that none of them seem particularly threatening to get to the same point. And with the Six of Swords, you'll have a little bit of an opportunity to sit and think and ponder. I feel like there's an opportunity to ponder or an opportunity to think that you maybe don't often get. So there's something very special here. I will tell you that may come in many forms. So I just was sick for a few days. That gave me an opportunity to ponder. It was not one that I would have been able to set aside myself, not time that I would have been able to set aside myself, but I did use it wisely, at least in that regard. So when it happens for you, hopefully you don't get real sick, that you have some opportunity to at least ponder and think through some of these twists and turns that are presenting themselves to you, because you have a lot of positivity coming and a lot of other people's stuff to work through. So try to be patient as they bring it to you, because again, they're treating you like somebody that you used to be, somebody that they used to know, as opposed to the person that you are today. So you may also be in danger of doing that with them. So just keep that in mind. And that is true of both of these people. So we're going to head into the extended now and look a little bit more into what's happening with your divine masculine in particular. I think maybe we split it up and we look at the divine masculine and a little bit more of what's happening with this other soulmate, because this one seems to be kind of really happening now with a lot of the notes that I am receiving. So we'll look a little bit at both of them, but especially with the frustration around this divine masculine, maybe understanding a little bit more about what that means and what form that's going to take, because I feel like they reach out to you a little bit and then there's this sense of retraction. So understanding that and understanding the frustration behind it may be a little bit helpful. We'll see if we can get you some advice. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and stop. I would love to see you in the extended, so I will put the link down below and either see you there or I'll see you again in the next reading.